terminated. One of the most recognizable sounds of the early 2000s was the whine of an SVT Terminator Cobra. For its day, it was so overpowered it would take shots at the Corvette since the Camaro had nothing to compete with it. This car would usher in an era of supercharged Mustangs that would expand 4 generations and the most tuner-friendly power plants out there. Even the GT500 from 2013 to 2014 pushed Dodge to build an engine that could compete with the Trinity 5.8 liter, which is how we have the Hellcat of today. On this episode of Explain, we will take a deep dive into how supercharged Mustangs set the bar for street legal power. The story of supercharged Mustangs precedes the 2000s Terminator all the way back to 1966 with the Shelby GT350S. Carroll Shelby at Shelby American offered Paxton centrifugal superchargers as an option on the 289 cubic inch V8s powering the Shelby GT350. The belt-driven centrifugal supercharger provided 5 pounds of boost, bumping horsepower from 306 all the way up to 390, and with tuned versions eclipsing over the 450 horsepower mark in testing. 0 to 60s were in the mid-5s and top speed of 150 miles per hour, making these cars a force to be reckoned with. The Paxton option was $600 on top of the GT350, which is $5,500 on top of a $48,000 Mustang in today's money, and only 46 were produced between 1966 and 1967. You don't get a factory in-house built supercharged Mustang not until SVT, or Ford's Special Vehicle Team, headed by John Coletti. The introduction of the New Edge Cobra Mustang in 1999 was met with criticism in testing, especially when matched against the Camaro and Trans Am with its obviously underrated 320 horsepower 5.7 liter LS1, when the same engine in the C5 Corvette was rated at 350 horsepower. Ford would then halt sales and recall all 1999 4.6 liter dual overhead cam Cobras to get a mandatory performance boost from a better intake manifold, computer components, and the exhaust system to truly reflect the 320 horsepower it was rated at. But by that time, the image of the Cobra was tainted. This led John Coletti and the SVT team to use what was learned on the supercharged Lightning and bring a supercharged Cobra to life, enter codenamed Terminator. The engine block was iron versus aluminum in the prior Cobra purely for its strength, even though there was a weight penalty of around 60 pounds. The cylinder head was derived from the Lincoln's Aviator and was a dual overhead cam 32 valve design with camshafts directly from the Lincoln's Navigator and Continental as well. In testing, the powdered metal connecting rods were inadequate for the torque output, so Manley H-beam rods combined with high tensile strength ARP rod bolts were used. Forged aluminum pistons gave an 8.5 to 1 compression ratio, which complemented the 8 pounds of boost from the Eaton M112 1.9 liter supercharger derived from the SVT Lightning. Output was 390 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque, and these were all hand-built in Romeo, Michigan. The potential of these engines would soon be discovered, given that SVT basically built a race engine in 50-state emissions legal clothing. Since the engine block and the internals were already beefed up, more boost and fuel via smaller upper and larger lower pulleys combined with bigger injectors could raise power upwards of 450 to 500 horsepower, which back in 2003 was insane. Terminators in stock configuration were outpacing the Camaro and Trans Am and also the C5 Corvette, but at around a $10,000 discount in price. You would need GM's flagship track model, the Z06, to maintain a fair race, which was $15,000 more than the Terminator and completely built for a different purpose. With the Camaro and Trans Am discontinued and the new body style on the way, the Mustang Terminator was subsequently terminated in 2004. The introduction of the 2005 and up S197 Mustang architecture was begging for a Terminator Cobra successor, and in 2007, SVT along with Carroll Shelby resurrected the GT500 as the flagship Mustang offering. With the 2007 GT500, you received a similar power plant to the Ford GT supercar, with displacement being 5.4 liters, utilizing an iron block like the original Terminator, but with powdered metal I-beam connecting rods to save costs versus the prior Manley H-beam rods, which were more expensive. The pistons were forged aluminum, which compression was only 1 point lower at 8.4 to 1, and the cylinder heads outflowed the Terminator at 274 CFM versus 233 CFM, making a much better breathing engine. Combined with a larger supercharger, the M122, making 8.5 pounds of boost, power output was 500 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, making it the most powerful Mustang to date. The engine in the 2007 and 2009 GT500s are severely undersquare, or having a stroke much larger than the bore, which gave the GT500 a lower red line versus the Terminator, but excellent torque production. Once the aftermarket got a hold to the new architecture, it was soon found that Ford's cost-cutting of the internal components made an inherently weaker engine in comparison to the Terminator. SVT rushing the Terminator to market and having to rely on more expensive third-party internals actually is what made the Terminator so unfathomably strong for its time. In 2010, the GT500 received the newer Mustang body style, but carried over the Iron 5.4 with a bump to 540 horsepower, which was achieved by more aggressive engine calibration found in the 2008 to 2009 GT500 KR, or King of the Road. A year later, the Iron 5.4 liter block was dropped for an aluminum block that was 102 pounds lighter for an additional weight savings and peaked at 550 horsepower. As good as the 5.4 liter was, SVT would develop an engine that would set the bar ridiculously high. In 2013, SVT introduced the new 5.8 liter Trinity to replace the 5.4 liter. It was fundamentally a 5.4 that was bored over 3.3 millimeters to 5.8 liters and was all aluminum in construction. Carried over was the forged steel crankshaft and powdered metal connecting rods, but with larger pistons increasing the compression ratio up to 9:1. Camshafts were upgraded to the Ford GTs, giving it higher RPM capability to 7,000 RPM for a computer-limited 7 seconds. Gone was the prior M122 supercharger for an Eaton Twin Vortices Series 2300 2.3 liter supercharger, and boost is raised from 8.5 pounds of boost to 14.7 pounds of boost. This all culminated to a record 662 horsepower in 2013, making it the most powerful production V8 at the time, outworking GM's 6.2 liter LSA and LS9 supercharged variants, and putting SRT engineers back to the drawing board. In 2011, Chris Cowlin, who was director of SRT powertrain development, got approval to build a 600 horsepower engine that would put the then top dog 2011 Shelby GT500 in its place. But they soon caught wind of the SVT's 5.8 liter development engine making 650 horsepower in testing. So SRT had to push the power even higher, and that's where we get the 6.2 liter Hemi with its 2.4 liter IHI supercharger making 707 horsepower. You wouldn't have the Hellcat's groundbreaking power if it wasn't for the 13 to 14 GT500 setting the bar so high. As the new S550 chassis was introduced in 2015, the GT500 variant wouldn't be seen for 5 years and would take a large departure from the traditional formula that goes all the way back to the 2003 Terminator. The 2020 GT500 was set up as a track weapon, dropping the beloved 6-speed manual for a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission and all-new engine architecture nicknamed the Predator. Displacement dropped to 5.2 liters, which is shared with the GT350, but dropped the flat plane crankshaft for a cross-plane forged steel crank and forged steel rods with forged aluminum pistons. Unlike the Gen 3 Coyote, the Predator is port fuel injected only, and for the first time on a GT500, it features twin independent variable cam timing. The most important change to the GT500 is the TVS R2650 reverse rotation supercharger, which flows immensely more than the older TVS 2300 and pushes 12 pounds of boost. The compression ratio is bumped from 9.0 to 9.5 to 1 with the help of tons of cooling from radiators to keep the heat and detonation at bay. The GT500 boasts 760 horsepower with a high red line of 7,500 RPM, which complements this track-oriented Shelby, especially when compared to the lower revving 5.4s of the mid-2000s. The most impressive part of the 5.2 liter is that even at 760 horsepower from the factory, there is plenty more room to grow with modifications. Pulley swaps, E85, and free-flowing exhaust can make over 900 horsepower quickly, running into the limits of the DCT transmission. And what I think is coolest of all is Ford is still holding out with this engine against the electrification that is rampant in the auto industry right now. The GT500 is still being produced till 2024, and the new Raptor R will have a detuned version of this very engine. Maybe we can forgive them for giving us that Mustang Mach-E.